A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew chapter 17, verses 10 to 13. The disciples, meanwhile, were asking questions. Why do the religion scholars say that Elijah has to come first? Jesus answered, Elijah does come and get everything ready. I am telling you, Elijah has already come, but they didn't know him when they saw him. They treated him like dirt, the same way they are about to treat the Son of Man. That's when the disciples realized that all along he had been talking about John the Baptizer. The Gospel of the Lord. Reflections on the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 17, verses 10 to 13. Today we celebrate the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, commemorating the apparition of Our Lady to Juan Diego at Tepeyac in Mexico in 1531. Within years after the apparition, practically the entire Mexico embraced the faith in Jesus. Today, the Gospel speaks of the disciples who had experienced the beatific vision of Jesus. As they walked down the hill after the dramatic vision, Jesus gives them a warning. They will make the Son of Man suffer. Jesus predicted his suffering, perhaps to prepare his disciples for the shock. But they couldn't digest what he just told them because they had just seen Moses and Elijah with Jesus during his transfiguration. They have had a glimpse of the glory of Jesus and are probably beginning to understand that God is breaking into their existence in the person of Jesus. But then they are a confused lot as well. It would seem strange but true that humans often recognize the worth of a person not when he is still alive, but only after his death. In spite of acting and speaking on behalf of God, invariably every prophet of the Old Testament was assassinated. Israelites recognized the worth of their prophets only years after killing them. They have waited for the Messiah, but also believed that before the Messiah comes, Elijah would appear to prepare the way for his coming. But, as usual, the people did not recognize the prophet, the baptizer. Finally, he got killed for calling for changes in behavior of those in powers that be. Now, Jesus tells his disciples that the baptizer was the expected Elijah who was to come to prepare for the coming of the Messiah. Elijah was a powerful prophet of the Old Testament, but as usual, people of his time failed to recognize him. He was persecuted by his fellow Jews for having fought idolatry, risked his life before the wrath of Queen Jezebel, and even wished for death. People of Jesus' time who moved with him and listened to him never realized that they were going through the most blessed time in the human history. They had the privilege to walk with, talk to, listen to, and experience God Himself personally. But unfortunately, as it happened with every other prophet, the people, especially those qualified religious scholars and the chief priests of the temple, failed to recognize him and, still worse, handed him over to the Romans to be tortured and killed. Are there occasions in my life where I turn a deaf ear to the prophetic voices which calls for my attention and action? Advent brings the call for conversion. Which area in my life needs a conversion? How do I respond to the voices of prophets in the church, in the community, or in the family?